Hey guys, welcome to today's video. So today I thought we would talk about 10 things authors should never do. So I want to get into this, that way you know what kind of things to avoid. These are supposed to be very helpful tips for any authors and writers out there. So without any further ado, let's get straight into this. So the number one thing you should never do if you're an author or a writer, whether you're published or not published and just writing for a hobby, if you're on social media, never ever spam anybody on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, any other social media platforms begging them to buy your book. I know it's very tempting. I know it's, over messaging we can feel a lot bolder and we want to be like, hey, I have a book on Amazon, buy it, thanks for following me, and even leave that as a following message. It really gets annoying, and all it does is make people mad, and most generally speaking, it actually has the opposite effect of what you're trying to do. I've done this with in situations where I've had a book for free, and I was trying to blast the book to get it up on the free, bestseller list on Amazon. And I would message them, hey, I've got a book for free, download it today, that sort of thing. And it makes people so mad. And one of them actually yelled at me on Twitter and was like, this is not how you get on the bestseller list. And he blocked me. And so I know all of these things from experience. So please, please, please don't ever do that. It makes people mad. And if you want to get actual fans that are truly going to follow your work, that is the number one mistake you can make. That is the number one thing to avoid. People are not going to become your fan if you really do that. I'm not saying it won't ever work and you won't get one or two fans, but most generally you're going to make the general populace mad at you. So the second thing that you should never do as a writer, regardless of who you are or where you are in your publishing journey, never ever avoid editing. I know this myself. I hate editing. I literally like writing books. So if I could, I would just write books and never edit them. And there was a time in my life when that's all I did. And I never had anything edited. Even if you can't afford an editor, believe me, I know they are so expensive. Please don't avoid editing. If you have to, do the edits yourself. If you can't or don't know how, maybe you can ask your friends and family to help you. You should always have a second pair of eyes on your book, regardless of whether they know how to edit or not, because their opinions, it's the reader opinion that you really want to read. So ask a friend and family member to read it, regardless of whether you can or can't edit. And if you can't edit, one thing that I did for my book, because I can't always see my own mistakes. I am an editor and I have editing services, but I can't see my own mistakes in my book because I'm too close to the story. And so one thing I did for my story that my husband couldn't edit was I had a beta reader. I asked a bunch of beta readers if they wanted to read my book and to see if they wanted to go through it. And then I would listen to their critiques and their opinions reading the book early on. And so just don't avoid editing. It's so important, and most of the time, the readers are going to notice if your book's not edited, and it'll affect your reputation as you continue to publish. So please be sure to have your books edited however you can. So the third thing that you should never do if you're an author or a writer, just a casual writer, and this is for everybody, don't sell yourself short, whether it's in your thoughts or most generally speaking, and this is specifically what I'm referring to, is don't sell your books for 99 cents just because readers want cheap stuff. It's okay to have like one book here and there and everything, and there's nothing wrong with putting a book for sale at 99 cents, but don't put all of your books at 99 cents just generically across the board. You wrote this, you worked hard at it, probably for months if not years on this project, and you deserve to be paid a lot more than 99 cents on Amazon for it. And the sad thing is, if you're on Amazon, if you're selling it for 99 cents, you're only getting 33 cents out of it. And it's okay to do it for like a short story. It's okay to do it for, like the first book in a series, or the first couple books in a series, or for a new release, or as a special sale. We've all done those things, but don't do all your books for 99 cents all the time. Don't sell yourself short. Price your books what they're worth. At least $1.99 or $2.99. $2.99 is generically what I do. My publishers do $4.99. So just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a comparison there. So the fourth thing that you should never, ever, ever do if you're an author or writer, and this goes for people who are both published and unpublished or not planning to publish, never, ever sacrifice your beliefs or your standards just to write what's trending or what's popular or a popular genre. If you're a Christian author and you're not seeing any sales and or you're on maybe like a site like Wattpad and you're not getting any reads or follows or anything like that, but you see how popular erotica is, for instance, don't start writing erotica just because it sells, just because it's popular. Even if you're not a Christian and you have your own beliefs and standards, don't compromise what your beliefs and standards are just because it's what's popular or it's because what's trending. Trends will change, what readers want will change, but what you believe and what you want to write will never change. And that's the important thing to remember. So, the fifth thing that you should never ever do if you're a writer is never ever 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 compare yourself to other writers and authors. We have all done this. Every single author in the world has always done this. But your journey is your own. My journey is my own. The journey that you're on is different from mine and different from everybody else's. It's unique to yourself. Don't look at how many sales they have. Don't look at how large their fan group or newsletter is. Don't look at how many readers they have. Don't look at how many reviews they have compared to yours, or compare how high they are on the best-selling list compared to you. You're always going to find someone who's more popular than you. Even authors like J.K. Rowling and George R.R. Martin have other authors who are more popular than them. And believe it or not, that's true. And even they fall in bestseller rankings all the time. Focus on yourself, focus on the accomplishments that you have that are unique to yourself. Even if you don't think you have those accomplishments, they're there. You just have to look deeply for them, and you have to look for them and find them, but they're there. I promise you they are. There are things that you have accomplished that no other person has done before because you're unique, and the stories you have to tell and the way you have to tell them are different to everybody else's. So, the sixth thing that you should never do if you're an author or a writer is don't procrastinate. This is an author's number one mortal enemy. We've all done this. This is way easier said than done. But procrastination will kill you. It will literally stop your books from being written. It will keep those ideas planted in your head where they can't get anywhere. And you have a unique story to tell in a unique way that is only for you, and only you can tell this story. Even if it's a fantasy that's not real, that's still a unique story that no other author can tell but you. If you procrastinate, it'll never get done. And eventually, if you don't use the gift and the passion that you have, it'll die down. Like a fire without fuel, for example. So stop doing other things. Start writing, even if what you're writing is total nonsense. The important thing is to get the idea out of your head and onto the paper or screen if you use a laptop like me. So the seventh thing that you should never do if you're an author or writer, do not ever respond to negative reviews. People are going to be negative toward you and to your books. It happens. It's something that we all have to face. It'll break your heart. When I get negative reviews, it breaks mine, and your desire is to lash out. Or maybe your desire is to ask them, how did they come up to that conclusion? Maybe you want to use it to grow and everything else, but don't respond. It's important for you as an author to maintain a reputation of a professional, and professionals will not respond, not even to ask questions. It's important for you to keep a good and polite reputation. You want readers to be honest about how they feel about your books. And when someone is being fair and critiquing you, take what they're saying to heart. If they're being rude and negative, that's one thing, but if they're saying something, then it's a critique, then take it to heart. That's not saying that you have to change everything that they say or address all of the issues. Just take it to heart, consider some of the things, and maybe make some changes along the way if you see that what they have to say is true in some way or form. The eighth thing that you should never do as an author or writer is never be afraid to take ideas from other places. Yes, we all know that copywriting is bad. It's very, very bad. Never, ever, ever copyright. And if you love another book, movie, TV show, video game so much that you need to write it, go write a fan fiction. It's okay to do that. But remember that no ideas come from nowhere. I know that's a double negative, but you get my point though. maybe that's a confusing way to say it, but if you think about your favorite fandom or your favorite whatever, the idea that that author or creator had did not come from nowhere. Let's take the original Star Wars movies, for example. You have a big empire that takes over the galaxy. Seems unique in sci-fi, especially for the time period it came out in, but it's actually taken from the Nazis in World War II. If you look at their outfits, the styles that they have, everything that happens in there is reminiscent of Nazi soldiers. And even like the space battles, all the different spaceships and the way that the battles take place, the way that they fly, the way that they communicate with each other, that was actually all taken from actual World War II footage during, with plane fights and stuff. So the key for you is to take an idea that you love and tweak it, combine it with other ideas that you love, and then add your own flair to it and make it something, make it your own. And that's when it becomes yours. So the ninth thing that you should never do if you're an author or a writer is don't be afraid to start conversations about your books in real life. And when I say real life, I actually mean in person, face to face. I used to be terrified to do this. And I wouldn't say anything about my stories or anything about me in public. I'm naturally shy, so I'm both extroverted and introverted. So usually you have another person has to talk to me first, and then once you do, I'll start opening up and you'll get to meet my extroverted crazy side. But recently I've actually started to where I've gotten to mention, hey, I'm an author, and that will naturally spark a conversation. So most of the time people will ask what I write, and that starts the interest in the conversation from there. I actually had a waitress at Steak and Shake one time take down my name and my book titles so she could look me up later when she got home and stuff. And if you don't know how to how do I just casually bring up that I'm an author? That seems random. Well, you bring it into the conversation. So here's a few examples that I've done. So I'll talk about how it feels good to get out of the house, especially with COVID. That's a popular thing to talk about. I'll be like, oh, it feels really good to get out of the house a little bit. And I'll be like, I'm an author, so I stay home a lot. And they'll be like, oh, really? What kind of books do you write? And stuff. Or sometimes I'll, if I say something awkward socially, I'll be like, I don't socialize very much. I'm an author. And they'll kind of laugh, and then they'll start asking about that. So, maybe you could look at checkout, you could see a checkout person, like their name tag, and be like, hey, that's a cool name. Can I use your name for a character in one of my books? And, see what they say. You never know where it might lead. So the 10th thing that you should never do if you're an author or a writer is don't stop writing. You will have negative reviews. You may not have a lot of readers at first. You may go a long time without having people read. You may not have a lot of people in your life who support you, but don't ever give up. If this is your passion, if this is what you love, if this is what you feel your calling is in life, then keep at it. And don't give up when things get hard. And I promise you it will get better. I promise you it will get better. But just don't stop writing. Write for yourself, and because it's what you love to do and because it's what you want to do. And that will be what carries you on and what keeps you going. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like it if you really enjoyed these 10 things all authors and writers should avoid doing. Be sure to share it to other authors and other friends that you know that love to write that may need to hear some of these tips. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more reading and writing videos. We've got some exciting new content coming up, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. So thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this.